It's a great blessing to be with you here today on this Tuesday. And I want to encourage all of our folks from our church to be praying for the second day of our family extravaganza. God just blessed wonderfully yesterday, and the truth came across through all the speakers in a very definite and coordinated way. And I know that's because you prayed, and certainly would encourage you, if you're not able to be here, to really pray that God will work over these next few days. I'd like to direct our attention to Colossians chapter 1. Here, this book that speaks of the preeminence of Christ talks about what we have as believers. You know, sometimes we can just feel like everything's dark. Certainly, it's dark in the culture around us, and the news often is dark, but we can feel dark ourselves. But we read in verse 13 of chapter 1, who hath delivered us, speaking of Christ, from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son. Actually, the Father doing this based upon what Jesus Christ has done. And I love this verse. He has delivered us from the power, the authority of darkness. Once you came to know Christ and became saved, you then left the control of Satan. He is the one that is the prince of the power of the air, the god of this world. He controls the unregenerate world, and there is darkness. He blinds people's minds. He brings just awful deception. And once we're saved, we no longer have to live under the authority, under the power of darkness. But oftentimes, Christians do have darkness, and it's because they allow themselves to be deceived. They're not walking in the Spirit. They get self-focused. They get stubborn maybe about something, and we find ourselves just not in a place of enjoying the freedom we have from Satan's control in our life. And so the Father has delivered us through what Christ has done, and he has delivered us from this authority and has translated or transferred us into the kingdom of his dear Son. We now are living in the kingdom of light. That's what you find in Ephesians chapter 5. We are children of the light. We don't need to live in darkness. We don't need to let the heaviness of life come upon us and confuse us and deceive us. We don't need to hear the things that are going on around us and be fooled by them. We can live with clear understanding, and we can have light in our souls. So let me just say, if you find yourself getting dark, a lot of times people that have a depressive tendency will use the term darkness to try to explain how they feel. And that's a very real emotional situation. But I want to encourage you that you are indwelt by the Spirit, and the Spirit will make the light of truth that he wrote himself shine into your heart, and he will make you aware of the fact that you're not under Satan anymore. You are in the kingdom of Jesus Christ. And if you will choose to trust the Lord, even if you still have some emotional issues, in your spirit you can have light and joy and freedom that will give you deliverance eventually from the dark feelings that you have. It's really our choice. Now, I know folks can get into emotional troubles, but you get out of those by taking steps of faith to really think truth and not look at yourselves or listen to Satan's lies trying to get you focused on yourself, but instead to look to the Lord and realize, I've been delivered. I'm a child of the light. I am headed to heaven. I have the Spirit of God within me. And I have been taken out from the authority of darkness. In fact, you can pray this way: Lord, would you please take Satan's darkness out of my life? I'm not under his authority. I can reject that. And would you now give me wisdom how to think right so that the darkness can be dispelled in my life? So I trust today that you can take some steps today to realize I'm free. I'm a child of God. I've got the light of the Word of God. I've got the light of the presence of the author of the Word of God in my heart. And even if I feel sad, I can have light in my soul, and God can change my whole perspective. And if you'll think that way and you look to the Lord, I promise you, He will show you that you are delivered and you will begin to have freedom from darkness.